Good morning. It is Saturday again. What is it, the 4th of February, I think, and we are on 9.6, 92% humidity and 9.6 degrees centigrade. What a change from a couple of weeks ago when it was -5 and I was talking to you. I'm a little bit late getting out this morning. It's my daughter's 16th coming up and I've been making the sponge cakes so that we can decorate them for later on today. She's having a few things going on, so we're doing a cake. I'm doing that on a different video. I'm laughing because she asked for, essentially it looked like a 3-tier wedding cake. I was like, that's not going to happen. You can have a 1-tier, hopefully it'll work out cake. Anyway, so that's why I'm late this morning. I've got so many things to get done. I'm going to start straight away with those raspberries because I finished last week's video telling you that I tried to use the, you know, just the loppers, these things here. The ones that fell over, just those. And as good as they were for the asparagus, they're just not tough enough for those raspberries. We have a mixture of winter, no, not right, of summer and autumn raspberries, I think that's right. They come all, literally they start early in the summer and they produce all the way through to like October time, late October. I thought it was a one-off the first time that it happened. I was like, oh, we're still getting raspberries in October. It's happened ever since. So there's clearly a mix of raspberries in there that the previous owner planted, but I don't know which is which. So I just kind of use my educated guess on a wing and a prayer when I'm going to take those down. So they should all be nicely trimmed back and tidy. And the ones, you know how raspberries kind of go under the ground and like the old Tremors movie and just pop up wherever they feel like it, those ones that are intruding where they shouldn't be, I'm going to make sure that I chop those down and I will use those on the pathway that you saw me put the asparagus ferns on too, and that'll just hopefully keep the weeds down in the pathways. And we've got quite a few other things going on. It's been a much milder week. Oh, my phone is ringing, excuse me. That happened last week on the intro as well, didn't it? Stephen shouted me. Anyway, that was Jack ringing me. He is collecting molehill soil for me. We have a bit of a mole problem and I'm trying to turn it into not a problem. He has been getting all of the hills that have just appeared over the last few days. It's very active mole at the moment and he's bringing me that in a barrow. So let's do that first, then we'll do the raspberries because he needs that barrow to do a different job for me. He's going to be helping me today instead of the dogs and Grace. He is going to hoe the area where we have got the orchard, the fruit trees. So it's not the bigger orchard bit. When I say bigger, I mean not massive. It's the what we call the mini orchard. So there's just weeds coming through left, right and centre there. That will be prolific in no time if we don't take care of it now. So bless him. He is going to put his ears in his phone. No, his things in his ears and listen to some music and hoe all of that for me. So I'll show you the before and after of that. But he's waiting for me with a barrow of molehill soil now. So we'll go and get that and then we'll get on with the raspberry canes. We'll see what we get to this week. I took this off Jack. I can't believe how heavy it is. It's got half a barrow full here of great soil and it's so heavy. Anyway, I'm just going to use it on this tea bed and see, spread it about a bit with some of the manure. I'm really gobsmacked at how heavy that is. Wow, good job Jack. Look how fine that is. I could probably use that for mixing in with my seeds. Brilliant, thank you. So Jack's just removing the cardboard that had blown over here. This is the state of the mini orchard that he's going to kindly take care of me. I think he'll deserve a treat at the end of this. Take care of for me. These that you can see here, interestingly, are the almonds on last year's tree. So these, we didn't get to them because of one thing and another with everything that happened, but hoping we get a good almond crop. And I think there's some chamomile there, but anyway, Jack's going to try and hoe it all for me and then he's going to pop it all in a barrow at the end and we'll see how he gets on. So being me, I got distracted from the raspberries. They're not done just yet, but Jack brought that soil that you saw me pop down there, still there underneath that, and I thought I'm going to get the rest of this finished before I start the raspberries, otherwise that's still going to look half done, and that's what I've done. So Jack has been doing a grand job. I think he's got a little bit sick, bless him. He's got half a barrow full of weeds whilst I've been doing this, and he can come back to it and get it finished, but he's done all right for now. I think he got distracted as well by this this long bit of wood here that we have no idea what it's for. I'll check with Stephen, I'm sure it's for a reason. That needs raking back over though, so that we're just trying to keep this weed free essentially, so that we're not having to, the plants aren't having to compete. This is blueberry. There's 3 blueberry plants, 1, 2, 3, and that is honeyberry. And there's another honeyberry, I think, on the other side of it, if I remember rightly. Should know, I planted it. Yeah, so because I believe I've just tripped over a flippin' anyway. Oh look, it's budding. Oh, fab. Excellent. Hopefully the frost won't nip it. Okay, anyway, distracted. That's the theme of the week, it seems. These 2 honeyberry bushes, I believe you need them to pollinate each other, so that's why that's there. That's the blackcurrant. Where was I? This is what Jack's been busy doing. So this bed's done, all good here. That rosemary is fantastic. That's what I used for the lamb in last week's video. So that's all done and finished. So I like to get something ticked off completely. So I'm really pleased with that. And next up, this is the raspberries that I was telling you guys about. Here we've got them where they're shooting out of places that they shouldn't, so they can go. You can see in between the gooseberries, all of this grass needs pulling out. It's actually, it looks like it's taken over, but it's not too bad. The problem is, you see where you've got the nettles in between the gooseberries. Anyway, this all needs working on next. So the raspberries are coming down. The blackcurrants, we are going to take some hardwood cuttings of the blackcurrants. I think that's what you call it, isn't it? These are starting to bud as well. You see, anyway, we're going to get that done. We've got black currants, red currants, white currants. I know you can take the cuttings of the black. I wonder if red and white are the same. And then also there's the rhubarb, which you can see is just starting to poke through here. The one that I showed you last week is over there, is already a lot further on. And yet another thug of a cane. That'll need to come out. And this here is the straw that we used last year to mulch to keep the weeds down, which did a fantastic job. That was just sheep bedding. So when our sheep come out of the barn and we've got all of the bedding there and they go back outside, we use the bedding on this bed, literally knee deep it was last year, and it's done a grand job. So I'll be doing that again this year. Another rhubarb coming through. So that's up next. See what we get done. With the days lengthening in light, I'm able to get out here on a night a little bit more as well, so that's going to start making a huge difference, just to have more time out here. I'd much prefer to be out here doing something than sat trying to find a film or something to watch inside that I don't really want to watch. Right, busying on. I've got to go and get some stuff done inside now because it's lunchtime and unfortunately kids need feeding. And then we will get back out and I'll get those canes on. I'll get on with those canes and plenty of other stuff. I've been using these secateurs to take the raspberry canes down, and actually not, I don't know if you can see on camera, but they're not touching very well. They kind of look like they're getting a bit loose. I did leave them out last year, which I know you shouldn't. I'm going to ask Stephen to fix them for me, but in anticipation of him saying that he will need that, I better come and get it. I'm going to go and meet him over his workshop and see if he can fix it for me. I've asked him if he can sharpen them. Just like that, they're fixed. He's used a tool to tighten them up on that bit there. So we'll see. He said they won't open. No, but oh, come on then. We've got a different helper now. Oh, we've got 2. Let me show you. He said they didn't open up as quickly now because they're tight. Oh, where have they gone? 1, 2. I'll have to lock myself in now or else they'll disappear. As I said the other day, they're absolutely fine out here, even just roaming around, but I do like to know where they are at least, just in case they end up down a rabbit hole and we have to get them out. I've set the a camera up to record when I came home earlier, pulled in, and there was 3 squirrels fighting or playing or doing whatever they were doing on the car park that we've got, and they all scarpered off in different directions, and I thought it'd be really sweet to see what actually happens when nobody's there. So I've set a time lapse video going, so at the end of this, if it's any good, if there's anything on it, or even if it's not, I like to just see the clouds and things going and just nature being nature. So I'll pop it on at the end and you can see what happened. But yeah, 3 squirrels. I've never seen 3 together. That's where all the hazelnuts go anyway. Oh, look what these are doing. Buster. Now Rodney, this boy over here, he's usually good. Buster is good, but mischievous. Buster. Hi, what you doing? Welcome to Monday. So it is after work. As always, looks a lot lighter on the camera than it actually is. I've got home just as the sun's going down. The shed is 11 degrees. It's like a little hot room in there, so I know where to go when I need a warm, because out here it is 2 outside. So that shed is, I was really pleased when I walked in with the insulating. Anyway, I thought I'd give you a quick update whilst I remember on where we got to, because I didn't, I did the work that I told you I was going to do about the raspberry canes and then didn't report back on yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was Sunday, because we had such a busy day. Anyway, I've also tidied up the perennial kale, so let's just have a quick catch up there first. This is the raspberry bed. So as you can see, the canes are just down and laid on the floor. Did leave a few up with just out of experiment. We've got different types here. I don't know if you can see different colours, and that's suggestive that some of the canes are older than others, and we'll see what starts producing and what doesn't. So I left those up just for experimental fun. There are some repairs that need to be made to this raspberry, the string. I would point, but I've got a coffee in my other hand, and hopefully you can hear me okay. The farmer is cutting hedges as we speak. So yeah, the raspberry canes are down, really pleased with that. I need to get started on the grass that I talked about, all of the weed that needs doing in there. And as you can see from this barrow full of leaves, I've tidied up the perennial kale. I've decided against taking this branch off that's sticking out here. It's coming on really nice. You can see there's some lush new growth there, and it looks a lot better now that I've got all of these dead, kind of horrible looking leaves off. It's looking a lot better, so I'm gonna leave it for now. And typically the one that I was going to chop off, like I said, is the best looking one. So yeah, I think the whole place is starting to look a little bit better. The beds, although bare in terms of no plants, they're not bare because they've got the compost on them. I think I'm going to put a little bit on this bed here, just to cover up. I'll weed obviously those grassy bits and things. And then I've got those other raspberries that I'm not sure what I'll do with these, because as you guys know, I'm not overly keen even on the flavour of those ones, but we'll see. So baby steps. Oh, and one last thing before I sign off for the video for tonight, while I actually get some work done in the light. I've put more manure on the cardboard along the hedge, and the reason I put cardboard down here is just because the hedge weeds come from the hedge, and the hedge itself can be a little bit prolific, just to keep it looking neater really. So I think we'll put one more barrow there where the fork is, and this is the job that Grace did with me the other day, getting up all of the potatoes. There's still Jerusalem artichokes in the ground where all of the Jerusalem artichoke canes are here. We are working our way through those, eating those, really nice. I'm actually making a venison stew tonight, so I might grab some of the artichokes to put in the stew. I'm just going to do that in the Instant Pot. It's like a pressure cooker, electric pressure cooker, so I might take some of those inside to get those on for our meal tonight as well. It's about time that they came out of the ground, because they will start throwing off shoots and trying to grow again as we get towards the end of February. So really we've got the rest of February to get those eaten. So I'll grab some footage of those if I do get some tonight, but even so I'll get some before the end of this video. So I've got my coffee to stay warm. The hand that's holding the camera is freezing. I'm going to get busy. I've got a few jobs I want to get done while I'm out here now, and I'll check in with you again very soon. I've got a scarf on tonight. It's Friday evening, we've still got a little bit of light, and it's actually warmer than it has been on many of the other videos that I've done, but I'm feeling the cold. I've been feeling the cold all week, so I've come out with the scarf on, and I thought I'd give you a little run around what's happening in the greenhouse, because things are looking amazing. I'm really pleased. We are due a couple of nights even of below zero temperatures, so below freezing. So I'll be keeping the greenhouse closed, and because next week we are going to be getting into sowing seeds. I'm so excited. I'll give you a little rundown of the seeds that I'm going to be sowing, because it was suggested in the comments, and I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea to kind of do a sow along, so a seed along, a sow along, whatever you want to call it, and grow the same seeds. So basically, as you guys know, I'm following Charles Dowden's recommendations all of this year, so it's nothing that you can't find online, but I'll just share my journey and what I'm doing, and then if anybody's interested in doing it at the same time, hopefully we'll be able to line up by at least a week, because obviously these videos are taken throughout the week and then they go out at the end of the week. So even if we're a few days difference, that's totally fine. But anyway, very exciting. So thank you for suggesting that. Let me show you what's going on before we have a little catch up on what's happening outside as well. So we're on 11.5 degrees at the moment, and it was 29.4 maximum during the day. So that's interesting. Didn't get below freezing though. And over here, we've got the Felton peas that are just starting to germinate. You can see that this is unheated during the night. I think I said these were garlic the other day or earlier on in the video. I can't remember which it was. They're not the onions from sets. We've got some of the Thompson & Morgan plants that you guys saw me pot on. Got those at the back end of last year. We have one shallot that's showing its face, so that's nice. I always find them really slow. I don't know what that is. Oh, lots of little white buggy things. That's interesting. These are the shallots. Nothing's come up of these just yet, but there is plenty of time, I'm sure. And look, it's just looking really healthy and green and lush, so I'm really pleased. Really pleased, that's looking well. I have just watered in here, some of them at least. Now this is where I'm going to get cleared, so I need to move these garlic that, these are garlic, that are doing really well. These can probably head outside in the next week or so, although I could maybe put them over there, we'll see. These are the seeds that I put in last weekend. These were put in on the 29th of January, and the red barren onions that were put in on the 5th, they're just starting to emerge, look. So I'm really pleased about that because I thought that wasn't going to work. So we've got some dark rodent lettuce, which don't seem to be wanting to make an appearance, and it looks as though we've got some red frills mustard that's gone over into the dark rodent lettuce. Maybe they fell out. Anyway, radish French breakfast as well. So they are all the seeds that I got excited with and put in a little bit early, but let's see how they get on. All of this is going to come out because I want this space here. This is where I've got the heat. This isn't on at the moment, even though it clicks, that's just inside, but this lights up when it's on. So this is my heat tray here. Essentially there are wires underneath there, so I need all of this clearing for when I get my seeds out, which hopefully is going to be on the next, well, will be on the next video, not hopefully. So yes, the garlic's doing really well. We've got a few of the Kelsey onions starting to show, and the red onions are taken really well. I'm so pleased with those, and the garlic there as well. And I have just watered these guys up here. Can't remember why they're up there. I put them there for a reason, but should have labelled them. Anyway, that's that side. And over this side, there are a few more garlic too, along with, let's just go over here, and this is the elephant garlic that all but one have come up, so that's looking really good. So to be honest, they could go outside now. The only reason that I didn't put them outside or sow them direct was because when I came around to doing it, it was far too cold, the ground was frozen, and I took the wussy option and did it in the greenhouse. I'm only kidding, it just made sense to do it in the greenhouse, so they can actually get put out. I'll have a look at the forecast. As much as they won't be bothered by the minus figures, I will. So maybe next weekend, if we get the seeds sown this weekend, which you guys will see next weekend, and I might get the garlic in the following weekend, we'll see. So all the madness of the social events of, you know, my daughter's birthday and all of that stuff's died down now. So we should be getting back to full steam ahead in the garden, which I'm really pleased about. Now what I'm going to finish off with tonight is just taking some blackcurrant cuttings. They need, those black, red and white currants all need pruning, as do the gooseberry bushes. So you saw me take down the raspberry canes, so that's all good and all done. But I need to get the other things pruned, and I'm going to take some of the cuttings because we absolutely love the blackcurrant syrup that I made last year. And although it's quite an abundant bush, you know, we could just use it forever. It's something, Stephen has it on yogurt, I have it on pancakes. It's delicious. When I'm drinking, you can have it in gin, things like that, or even just as like with lemonade as a cordial or something. So they're really good. So we're going to propagate those, and I'm not going to do any more gooseberries because they're just prolific, and I haven't found a fantastic way of using those just yet. Although we did do the gooseberry and plus other fruit jelly, and that turned out really well. But we do have plenty of gooseberries and not enough currants, so I'm going to get the those pruned now and bring the cuttings in, and we'll finish off getting those potted up, and they can just sit around until the root, which won't be until later on in the year. Well, the hat's off and the scarf's off and the gloves are off, because I feel like I've just gone 2 rounds in a boxing ring, or 10 rounds in a boxing ring, whatever the phrase is. Anyway, I now have in my hand some blackcurrant cuttings. Literally what I've done, apologies I didn't get it on video, I didn't have my stand with me, but literally what I've done is I've just cut out any of the older or overlapping branches on the blackcurrant bush, and there was some really nice ones in there as well that needed to come out for whatever reason. They might have been in the way too long, and it kind of was just taking over everything else. And I've got some really nice cuttings there. You can see the buds are already coming through on them, and I'm just literally going to pot up probably some of the 7cm plant pots with some compost, just multi-purpose compost. I'm not going to put vermiculite, anything like that, and you don't need that for these cuttings. And I'm just going to literally shove them in and give them a little bit of a water, just a tiny bit, because it's really not dry and it's cold. And then put them in the cold frame and just see how they get on. And I must try and remember to water them every so often, because they will need it, not very much, but every so often, I'm sure. And just leave them. They will root over the spring and the summer. I might need to pot them up a little bit, and then we'll see how we get on with them. But that's blackcurrants, step 1, hardwood cuttings. I'm really pleased with how they look. They look like a little bunch of flowers just in themselves. So just remember, if you can take multiple cuttings off the same branch, which I've got 1 or 2 in here, so you can see that one's being cut there, but it is the right way up. Just make sure that the cuttings, the buds are facing up if you've got any buds on them already, so that they don't, otherwise you'll have your roots sticking out at the top. I'm going to get those potted up now, and I think I'll just be pottering in here for the rest of the night. How many times can you say pot? And just like that is the end of another video. So apologies if it's a slightly shorter one this week, with us having so many social things going on, which is completely out of the ordinary for us. I've just taken a really cheesy photo, and I'm going to overlay it with all of the seeds, or the minimum number of seeds that I'm going to be sowing this weekend, which you guys will see next weekend. And as promised, I just thought I'd give you a heads up on it. But for now, if you like the video, would you mind please giving it a thumbs up? I hate asking, but I've been doing a little bit of research into how YouTube sort of puts your videos out for other people. And apparently the algorithm picks up on things like that, and it says somebody's watched it, they've enjoyed it, so let's show it to somebody else. Who knew? Anyway, that's what it's all about, sharing and getting more people into enjoying doing this for me. I'm going to stop rambling now, as always. Thank you for watching, it means the world. I'll see you next week for another gardening video, and who knows what's going to be in between. See you later.